Okay, that's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, let me add something to that rule. Welcome to Frontline Football. I was just checking out the helmet to helmet rules because that kind of screwed the Browns over in the playoff game that which they should have won because of that call. But I think in the rule book it says if a player hits their helmet on someone else's helmet, it should be a penalty. But also there's a little thing in the rule book saying if you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid just won a Super Bowl, it doesn't count and it counts as a touchback. That makes sense. All right. Well, welcome to Frontline Football, the one place where you should be getting your news, rumors, predictions, and highlights. So let's just get this started with predictions. So we have an amazing first matchup with the Buccaneers Packers. Buccaneers not destroyed, but they beat them by 10. Uh oops, shoot, sorry. All right, let me find predictions and polls. 33% of people say Bucks, 67% of people say Packers. It could go either way. These guys are all great. And I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
This one's tough, but I'm gonna take an upset here. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, mainly because I like what they've been doing lately. They kind of picked it up. Ronald Jones is probably coming back healthy. Leonard Fournette's got the best legs he's had in a couple years since he's been splitting carries for most of the year. So if it's a cold, snowy day, they can run the ball. I bet the Packers will try to do the same, and Tom Brady will go to his 10th Super Bowl. I think 10th. Been to a lot, but I'll take the Bucks here. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, I can't go against angry Aaron Rodgers because give me the Green Bay Packers here. Because the last time they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Rodgers is going to be looking for another win. And with that Lambeau weather compared to Tampa Bay, this is going to be a very hard game because the Packers know how to play in these conditions. The Buccaneers, yeah, Brady knows how to play in them, but how many of the other players know how to play in these conditions that Green Bay is going to be having? Because it's January and it's Green Bay, Wisconsin. So give me the Green Bay Packers here. They are my Super Bowl team for the NFC. Zach, what are your thoughts on the game?
The Buccaneers surprised me and actually won me predictions last week. And I'm going to go with them again. I say that they're making it to the Super Bowl. And they actually look pretty good. I think Brady's going on this last run, maybe. He might retire after this season or next season. And I think ending this off with a Super Bowl ring or just making it to the Super Bowl would prove that Brady is not a system QB. So I am going to go with the Buccaneers, and they're going to beat Aaron Rodgers. It'll be close because, well, it's Lambeau, so there's going to be some ref ball, but wait, what's that going to be all about? All right, so the next matchup is actually going to be our primetime game, and it's going to be Bills-Chiefs. I'm going to hand this one off to Josh. Oh, yeah, and the polls are 78% of people say Bills, 22% of people say Chiefs. I'm going to hand this one off to Josh. What is your take on this game?
Give me the obvious choice here. The non-bandwagon team, Bills Mafia. Give me the Buffalo Bills here because if Mahomes is not back, even if he is back, they're starting Chad Henne. Chad Henne. Now, you might be saying he did so well in the game against the Browns, but the whole thing about the Browns, did you not see his performance? All he had to do was make a couple plays and make it look good, and the receivers would do the rest. If Henne wins this game, Mahomes will be shown as a system quarterback. If a backup, a career backup, can do well in your system in the conference championship of all places, then you're a system quarterback and need to prove your worth. So I'm going to have to go with the Bills here. Even if Mahomes is still in, he's going to be hurt. That leg did not look good whenever he was on playing for the Chiefs. So I don't know how well he's going to do outside of this. So I got to go with the Buffalo Bills here, going as my AFC team to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to hand this one off to Jack for his take.
I'll also go with the Buffalo Bills here, just based on the fact that I understand they beat the Browns on some questionable touchdown call earlier in the game, and Andy Reid calling up a really tricky play where he made it seem like, nope, we're not going to snap the ball, we're going to lure offside, and they went, nope, we did run a play. Henning did absolutely nothing that game except overthrow a receiver by a mile and landed right into the cornerback's arms. This guy's not going to be able to keep up with Buffalo. Their defense is heating up as of late. Though they may get Edwards-Helaire back, I'm not sure about that situation. Buffalo's took care of Baltimore pretty handily for most of the game. Plus, they're just that team last year. They are what KC was last year. They picked it up towards the middle of the season. They got hot and they rode with it. And they're about to ride that wave all the way to the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm saying Bills here. I think that it will be Buccaneers Bills in the Super Bowl. Number one, that sounds really cool. Number two, Chad Henne. I was watching the game with Josh, and he didn't do anything except I don't know. He got sacked by I think that was Myles Garrett, and then he ran to go get a first down. He made it. So I think, and it was something stupid, and then he just threw it to Tyreek Hill with out of bounds thing. And that's not how you win as a QB. You need to get touchdowns. You need to get a bunch of other stuff to win as a QB. And if Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's back, then they're going to be depending on a running game. So that's not really too good if your quarterback is out against probably, in my opinion, the best team in the AFC right now. So, yikes. All right. Now we are going to go to news. Josh, start us out with the Ravens.
Let's see. The Ravens have waived quarterback Robert Griffin III and have released running back Mark Ingram. Now, this news was inevitable, and I will hand it off to Zach for his take on the news.
Well, this is sad, especially for RG3. He's had a hard career playing for the football team. And then moving to the Ravens to be a really good backup. Got to teach Lamar Jackson. But I feel like RG3 has gotten messed up a lot. Especially if the football team didn't ruin his career, I bet he would be like a good star. Defense would have figured him out by now, but he would have been he was a game changer back there, and now he's just a shell of himself. So, yeah. And then Mark Ingram, I love him. He's one of my favorite running backs in the league, but he didn't have a productive. I don't think he had too bad of a year, but it's not good enough to be on the Ravens, I guess. So, and maybe they'll pick up I don't know, Najee. Maybe they'll pick up Travis Etienne with their first pick. Who knows? Jack.
As for the RG3 thing, he was a backup quarterback. Maybe they just didn't see enough in him. I think the bigger deal here is Mark Ingram. I have a feeling the release was because he didn't get that much of a role this season. His role was to kind of mentor Dobbins, who came in as a second-round pick, played a similar style of game to him. So you saw him, he kind of got to play in the beginning of the season, but you saw Dobbins slowly steal the snaps from him up to a point where he wasn't touching the ball for most of the game. So I think Ingram, he wants to go somewhere where he can have a similar role to what he did in Baltimore to Dobbins, but maybe to a different team to mentor another young running back room, and then the same process. He seems like a great guy to get in the running back room to maybe if you have running backs that are all 24 and under, young, trying to learn this game, the system, maybe he'd be a good fit for that running back room. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I feel like the RG3 thing was inevitable because now they have that rookie who's their backup. I forgot his name, but he started in the Bills game when Lamar went down. And I feel like this was inevitable because RG3, his age does not really look that good. Yeah, he's the same age as Andrew Luck, but the thing is with that is he's starting to get old. You're going to have to pay him, and paying a backup is not the best idea for your team. So I'm going to say that was a good thing to get him off the books. And next for Mark Ingram, yeah, he was starting to reach his end because J.K. Dobbins is the running back of the future for the Baltimore Ravens for the next future. Now, I do believe that Robert Griffin III will be picked up as kind of a journeyman quarterback, just go around the league and teach these young stars how to play in the league. And I feel like Mark Ingram's going to find a job either mentoring or going to one of the struggling teams like the New York Jets, the Houston Texans, and those are the ones that I know, but there are probably many more that need running backs like Mark Ingram on their team who would love to take him in and have him run a couple plays and mentor the young
All right,
guys in the league.
Jack.
Okay.
Okay, Jack. What's going on with the Chargers?
The Chargers have just hired Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley to be their next head coach. I'll open up with my take here, and I'm not sure how to feel about this hire yet, to be honest. He did run a good defense in LA to his credit, but he is a disciple, a product of Vic Fangio, who concerns me about leadership. I'm worried he's not able to connect with his players. I'm not sure, though. I'm going to probably watch the press conference that he has to get a feel for what he does, but he doesn't show a lot of energy. I don't see him much on the sideline, but I feel like you can't discount this hire yet and call it bad, because you never know with these guys. Maybe he is just a quiet leader and he does a good job, but he definitely made more with less when it comes to the Rams defense, because this was a team that could not afford to bring in any more defensive players. They lost defensive players and somehow improved from last year. So I think overall this is a solid hire as of right now, but I'm curious who they're going to bring in for the offensive coordinator to help Herbert. Do they keep the guy that got him the rookie touchdown record, or do they try to go a different direction that Staley's looking at? But overall, this hire is a bit of an unknown right now, but I think it could be a good hire and has a high ceiling as a coach. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Okay, I like it. Getting some NFC West person out of the NFC West is the perfect thing for me right now. This works out for my team. This works out for any NFC West team, and this works out for, well, the head coach for the Chargers now, Brandon Staley. He gets to work with Joey Bosa. He gets to work with a nasty defense that the Chargers have already built, and it's kind of like not even leaving the Rams. It's just the Chargers have had this great team for so long, and they just need one good thing, and that's a head coach to push them through and get them to it. And I've seen enough. I've seen some Rams games, and that guy does not play around, though. That defense is always in tip-top shape, and that was hard to deal with, and I think that this team will actually make the playoffs next season. So look out. Josh?
Well, I do believe that this was a good hire. It probably wasn't the best that they could have done. I feel like I always have this thing with the defensive-minded head coaches because, one, this is Herbert's offense, so I would guess that they want a guy for Herbert. I mean, it's a good move by them because now they get McVay's talent in the building. But I'm always scared about these defensive-minded head coaches because they usually don't work out. People like Vic Fangio, people like Todd Bowles, people like Vance Joseph. These guys usually don't work out as head coaches in teams. So I'm a bit skeptical about this move. I'm not going to say that it's a bad hire because you're getting McVay's brains into the Chargers offense, which they probably will need. But I do believe to take this move with a bit of caution before we say it's a good or bad hire.
All right. So now we're going to talk about the Lions hiring. The Lions have hired Saints assistant head coach Dan Campbell. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack. What's your take on this?
This is an intriguing hire because this isn't really like, I don't think he has a specialist. Like, he's not the hot coordinator name on offense or defense for the Saints. But he was the interim head coach in Miami. He said he was a little immature, thought he was one of the players. But I think going to New Orleans for a couple years helped him kind of develop those skills, learn under Sean Payton on how to lead a team. And overall, this has got a lot of potential as a hire because he's going to come back as a leader. He's going to be able to lead the Lions organization, who's in desperate need of a culture change. I think he does bring that juice and that energy to them. And I expect this to be a good hire in the long run. They also brought in defense coordinator Aaron Glenn to be their next DC, Saints cornerback coach. I've heard great things about him. and he's coached up the Saints defense, specifically the secondary, a lot. So overall, I'm not sure if I can call this a good hire or a bad hire. I call it a solid hire, pretty good. This guy's a culture changer and a leader more than a offensive or defensive specialist at this point in time. But if the Lions can get a real culture changer and leader into that building, they'd be able to get some of the free agents or one of the best offensive coordinators in the game, and maybe they are able to turn it around in the next 4 to 5 years. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think that this may be a good hire because I haven't really heard much about Dan Campbell. I do know that he's the assistant head coach and the tight ends coach for the Saints, or the former one. And that'd be a good culture change for Detroit. But I'm also kind of skeptical because he is coming from Sean Payton's system, and Sean Payton only won one Super Bowl with Drew Brees and all that talent that he had. So I don't know how good this hire is going to be. Now, Dan Campbell might be a completely different player or a completely different coach from his mentor, Sean Payton. But I kind of have to approach the move just like Jack said, with some little bit of skepticism here, just to make sure that this isn't a bad move. I do feel like this is a good culture change. You get out Matt Patricia, you put in a new system, but we're just going to see how this move formulates before I have any strong opinions about this move. Zach, your thoughts?
Well, you're getting the worst. Well, the worst head coach was just in Detroit, not counting the old Jets head coach Adam Gase. Now, any head coach that you get that's not named Adam Gase or what was his name? Dang it. Forgot his name. But anybody would be good and have a different culture change than those two guys. Like, anybody would have been good. I would have been better than Matt Patricia or Adam Gase. So I'm gonna also take this move a little. I need to see him play in preseason and regular season to see what's gonna happen. I can't just say that this is a good or bad hiring. I think there's a lot of potential. The Lions team does have a little bit of potential. They lost Darius Slay though, and they might be losing Kenny Galladay this off season. So I'm a little skeptical, but I think that this Lions team hopefully will build something nice. So yeah. Okay, Jack, what's the Jets doing?
All right, it was officially announced. We went over it a bit last week, but Robert Saleh is officially signed on to be the next New York Jets head coach. I'll take this one to open it up, and I think I like this hire. I understand I do have my issues with defensive-minded coaches at times, but this is not your average Vic Fangio or Todd Bowles. This guy brings energy and leadership to the sideline. You see him on TV yelling like a maniac all the time. He coached up the 49ers defense to a top 5 unit even without Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, and other key pieces missing. So overall, this is like similar to the Lions. They need a culture change, but this guy is a defensive specialist. So they're hoping to get the best out of the young Jets defense here because they got a pretty solid defensive line. They're hoping that Salah will be able to excite C.J. Mosley to try to bring him back to at least half the player he was when he left. You got Marcus May, a young stud in the secondary, that hoping to be coached up to an even higher level. And specifically in the cornerbacks, you see Bryce Hall, Ashton Davis. These are young secondary players with a lot of talent and athleticism, and they just need someone to help them put it all together. And Salah could very well be the guy. The other big thing was the offense coordinator is a man named Mr. Mike LaFleur, the 49ers either run game or receiver coach. Now this is a product of Shanahan LaFleur, so expect a Kyle Shanahan offense in New York. I like that. I'm assured that Kyle Shanahan's bringing a bit of a scheme and a system to New York, and I'm excited for this hire. This is one of the few times, or actually my first time as a Jets fan, where I watched them make not only a good solid hire, but a pretty good one at that. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I like it. I mean, the Jets, there's nowhere but up now. Now, I saw a lot of potential in a bunch of their games. Their defense is very good. It's just they need a good coach to push them to be good. Now, I'm not saying that the defensive coordinator for the old defensive coordinator, was bad. That's not what I'm saying. Just Salah does a lot better at his job judging by the games that I saw facing the Niners or just watching the Niners. He could run that defense with no one there. And when he did have people there, well, we saw last season, they were almost Super Bowl champs. So I think that this is a great hiring, and I think that the Jets are gonna probably make a pretty good regular season run, but not playoffs yet. I still need to see a little bit from probably a rookie QB that they're probably getting this year. There's a lot of things that have to go their way to make the playoffs this year. I cannot just say like we did this season that they're gonna make playoffs. So yeah. Josh?
Okay, as you can see, Zach and I can't really see what Jack's doing, but we're all wearing Jets hats because we are happy for the Jets with this move. Because this is the thing. The last good head coach that I could probably say was in New York was Rex Ryan. He was a defensive-minded head coach. Robert Salah, he is probably Rex Ryan 2.0, has all the upgrades, and is a great head coach. He's also bringing over Shanahan's system, which is amazing. And this team is going to be lethal next year. That young defense with that energetic personality on the sideline, this is going to be unstoppable. I am saying in the next couple of years, you will see the New York Jets in the top 5 for defenses because that's what Robert Saleh does. That is what he produces. He is from Shanahan's system. In Shanahan's system, you win. He is a winner. He is going to bring this team to the playoffs. And this is probably one of the best head coaching hires in NFL history. Mark my words, he will be good in New York. Let's get to the next story.
Okay, Josh. Well, everyone said their take. Josh, now you have the Jag story.
There has been rumors swirling around the NFL that the Jacksonville Jaguars will promote Trent Belke, don't know how to pronounce that last name, to be the new GM of the team. So I will hand it off to Zach for his take on the story.
I think getting a guy that like works with personnel. I mean, is it the same guy that kind of? Wait, is this like a different dude, or because personnel you're dealing with players and their players were really pissed off with him this season, and moving him up to GM, I don't know about that, but if it's a different guy, then that's good for him. But if it's the same dude that kind of had to deal with Jalen Ramsey getting really mad, Calais Campbell getting really mad, Yannick Ngakoue, the whole team was mad. So, and that was just because the head coach and stuff, but he had to be a little bit a part of that. So I'm kind of iffy about this. Jack, what about you?
I gotta go in the same boat as Zach here. I am concerned because this guy was with the Jags, meaning he was there for this Tom Coughlin era. Tom Coughlin was like their leader of personnel, so that means he's probably an understudy of Coughlin, where the NFLPA put out letters saying don't go to Jacksonville because it was so bad. Like, it was the most unhappy. 95% of complaints were coming from Jacksonville. Like, that's a little concerning to me. But you got the best situation in football, arguably, here. As this team has the sky's the limit at this point, based on their offseason draft capital from Jalen Ramsey. They have the most money in the league, so this is a very hard situation to mess up. You have Trevor Lawrence, and you just gotta hope that Urban Meyer's good and that this guy doesn't resemble Coughlin in his personnel decisions in any way. This needs to be the anti-Coughlin. And overall, I'm concerned about this move. I'm not really a fan. You have the best GM spot because of all the money, because of all the draft capital. You didn't have to go from inside and promote someone. You could have gotten anyone out of the group, like maybe the Lions GM. I believe they hired a GM, Falcons, Panthers. Like, you could have gotten the best GM on the market, and I don't know if it was a good idea to try to promote someone that was under one of the most toxic cultures in football. So I'm a little concerned, but maybe this guy is different. I'm not going to judge anyone yet unless we see an Adam Gase level blunder, which we haven't yet. So I'm going to leave this as a concerning, but not the end of the world quite yet. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think that this is really weird because the whole thing with Jacksonville is you're trying to have a culture change. That's why you put in Urban Meyer. So why wouldn't you do that with your GM? Because the GM is from that Jacksonville organization, and I think that he's an understudy of Coughlin. And in the Coughlin era, 95% of the complaints to the NFLPA were from Jacksonville. And this seems just like the Doug Marrone move. It seems like the Cons didn't know who they were trying to get, so they just hired somebody from their organization. They did that with Marrone, and now they're doing it with their GM. I don't think that this will be a good fit because you're looking for a culture change. You could have gotten Caserio. You could have gotten the Panthers GM. You could have gotten so many different people. And you just promote it inside your organization, which is usually does not work out that well and does not have a good success rate. So I believe that they probably should have taken more time or looked for better candidates for this GM position in Jacksonville.
All right, well that does it for our video today. Josh, do you want to do the outro?
Yep. You like what you saw here? Like I say every single video, don't forget to hit that like button, punch that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and don't forget to share this with your friends because the shares on here help promote our content, which helps us make content like this. And also, might I just add, this is going to be a double header this week. You are going to get 2 news because we had so much news this week, it couldn't all fit into one video. And just don't forget, when you turn on that notification bell and hit that subscribe button, you're part of the Frontline Football Army. And the Frontline Football fan base. Sorry about my words there. The Frontline Football fan base is very educated because they watch us for videos. So let's go to Jack. Hit the plugs.
Alright, as always, don't forget to follow the Instagram and Twitter links in the description now, because I'm starting to remember to do that. And remember, off-season's right around the corner. You're going to get doubleheader in the news this week. There's going to be a lot of news. A lot of interesting stories are expected to unfold throughout the off-season. Super strong free agency class, so expect February to be a bit of a down month, but then to March and April to shoot up. And that's just what I expect so far. And that's all the updates we have, and we'll see you guys back here for part 2 of the news. Not next week, 48 hours. 48 hours from when this is up, part 2's up. And we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.